Everose here. Welcome back to another deep dive into Hunter x Hunter. This week we're focusing on Meruem, the Chimera Ant King. Born with overwhelming power, unmatched intelligence, and a presence that commands fear and respect. From his creation to the unexpected transformation, Meruem's story explores strength, identity, and what it means to truly live. Before we dive in, thank you so much for all the love on the Killua episode. Your comments, support, and engagement makes creating deep dives possible. Yes, I want to say thank you all so much. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and a happy December, since we're already in December. I cannot believe we're almost at episode 30, which we already have a character for that. I just couldn't do this without you guys, and it's just really, really amazing. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, my podcast. If you guys want to follow me, all my socials are down in the description below. And like I said, I cannot believe we're in the episode of the 30s. Like, wow, this is such a blessing, and I take this with full humility and grace. I really do. So thank you all so much. Alright, let's dive in. Segment 1. Born to Rule. Meruem enters the world as the perfect predator, strong, intelligent, and born to dominate. So if you guys do not know who Meruem is, he is what in the Hunter x Hunter world is called a Chimera Ant. A Chimera Ant is basically an ant that basically takes form from what the ant queen, which her name was Reina, that's Meruem's mother. Basically, it was this creature that in the beginnings she was already pregnant, and she kept eating fish to satisfy her hunger. But it wasn't enough, and she had these ant colonies that, would always provide her food, but like I said, it wasn't always enough. So they started to go after humans, especially kids. I would say mostly kids, but I think it's basically anyone. So basically what happens is, once the ant queen, Reina, ate the people, basically the people started to turn into themselves, but in ant form. Mind you, they do not have any recollection of who they were before, but they do have these human qualities to them. And the scary part about that is that they had this knowledge of Nen, which combining of 3 other characters that are considered Meruem's army, which is Pito, oh my gosh, Shellpoof, and oh my gosh, he was a big red dude, oh my gosh, Yagomi? Oh my gosh, hold on. It's Yuppie. So they're called the Royal Guards. Meruem's Royal Guards, which is Neferpito, which is a cat-like army. He's very dangerous. Neferpito is this very flamboyant butterfly. I detested him very much. And Yuppie, he was like this, he was like this big red Chimera Ant that really didn't care about anyone except for his king. But out of all of them, Shellpoof was like the most obsessed. Like, you can tell he was like gay for Meruem, because like I don't know if he was, but you can just tell he was obsessed with his own. He always self-blamed themselves and always said, this is for the king, and Meruem in the beginning, which I know it's not meant to be funny, so, but it kind of was to me, maybe because I have such dark humor. But there was this part where Reina, and in mind you, Reina wasn't, well, she was evil, I'll say that, but she was inherently bad. And I'll explain why. Because there was a part where she just kept getting bigger and bigger, because she kept birthing all these Chimera ants. But the most one that she was waiting for was Meruem. And she wasn't ready to give birth to him, but he was like, I don't care, I'm going out of the world whether you like it or not. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready, and basically he told his own mother, to shut up, which I know I should have not laughed, but when I said I laughed so hard at that because I was not expecting him to say that, but he was like, shut up, like, and then he just went out, like, came out of her, and I'm like, damn. And basically in the beginning he was very evil, like he didn't care about anything or anyone, but then you really think in the beginning, cause he takes over the world almost, and you really think he's the villain, cause he's so evil in the beginning. In the beginning, there are some plot twists and spoilers ahead if you don't want to get spoilers. But he's very determined on getting his land, becoming the king that he was meant to be. And mind you, since his mother, Reina, or in Spanish she's called Reina, but we're gonna call her Reina, she never really gave him a name. So basically they just called him either the Chimera Ant King, and even the own Chimera Ants wanted places for themselves, basically. But the royal guards, like Neferpito, Chalpoof, and Yuppie were like the ones that really were really loyal to him. But Chalpoof, holy cow, he was like the most loyal of the loyal. And oh my gosh, so annoying. Sorry, I'm gonna say this throughout the episode, because whether you agree or not agree, he was so, like, I wanted him to go real bad. There were some parts, I ain't gonna lie, you guys. Yes, the Chimera Ant arc is like the longest one in all of Hunter x Hunter, but I could not stand Chalpoof. Yes, he was hilarious and dramatic, but there are some times where you wanted to wring his neck that bad. And when there were times where Meruem would slap the crap out of him, you're like, thank God. So yeah, in the beginning he was very evil, but he gets some character development. Let's see. So he had a royal guard assessing dominance over the Chimera Ant archery. Heredity? Alright, let's keep going. Segment 2. The human connection. Everything changes when Meruem meets Komugi, a blind human girl whose courage and simplicity unsettle him. This bond becomes the catalyst for his emotional evaluation, revealing a vulnerability and curiosity he never had. So basically, I will not spoil it, but I never thought I would cry over these two characters, but I'm not gonna spoil much. just thinking about it makes me emotional. Just because Komugi is this blind girl that basically she's poor, and basically Meruem's trying to find like who can entertain him because he was bored out of his mind, and basically he took a key, I think it was a kingdom or whatever, or a place of this really rich guy that used to have dancers, and basically Meruem killed him, and basically Meruem took over that place, and basically he was just trying to find people to entertain him, and Komugi came into the place, and there was this game called Gunji? It's like, I always thought it was checkers, but apparently it's like chess in a way. Anyway, she's blind, like she's fully blind, she has boogers coming out of her nose, but she's really good at this game, and Meruem, who kind of detests all people, kind of spares her and says, okay, if you can entertain me, you're meant to be alive and whatever. Anyway, basically in the Hunter x Hunter community, a lot of people ship them as friends, a lot of people ship them more than friends. They're a little bit in between, cause I'm not, okay, and what I'm about to say, ladies, everybody, anybody, just because Komugi changed the way Meruem saw himself and kind of really was, plot twist, kind of really wasn't a villain as we all thought he was going to be, does not mean that you go around and you start thinking, oh, if he can change him, I can change him too. No. No, because Meruem, the only way that he did was because he kind of felt something, like he knew like something was up with him, and he started to have empathy and compassion for her. But I'm not saying go around and find a random stranger so that you could fix his problems. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. No, just because if Komugi could do it, doesn't mean you have to too. I'm just being brutally honest. A man's gotta work, a man gotta fix his problem, that angel problem. So, or anybody, to be honest. Anyway, going back. So Komugi, to everyone else, Komugi is the biggest rivalry to Xiaopuf, because Xiaopuf, like I said, Xiaopuf was like the biggest supporter of Meruem, and Komugi kind of sidetracked Meruem, and instead of thinking, oh, he's the king and whatever, Meruem started to kind of say, oh, there's more to life than ruling. There's more to life than this. There's more to life than that. And Xiaopuf wanted none of that. He wanted his king to be king and nothing else. So he tried to get rid of Komugi, not more than once. And they have the most sweetest reunion. I'm not gonna say much, but when I told you I was not expecting her cry, I was bawling my eyes out. That is all I'm gonna say. Because I was not expecting to cry like a baby with these two. But you really feel for them. And you kind of start liking Meruem, because I didn't like Meruem at all, if I'm being brutally honest. And I thought he was gonna fight Gon in the episodes, but I saw a tweet or something, or somewhere, whether it was on my Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on my Instagram, there it's in the description below. Anyway, so I saw something that if that Meruem wasn't really a villain. He wasn't the antagonist of it, of course, but he really wasn't a villain because basically, Gon is the main protagonist, right? And Meruem's the antagonist, so you would think they would meet. They never even met. Which, if you guys haven't seen my Gon episode, I have it up there in the description. I'll even put Killua's episode too. In my playlist if you guys want to watch any other videos. Sorry, getting sidetracked, but Gon never really fought Meruem, so technically he really wasn't a villain at all. Because he never got to fight Gon. The only person Gon fought was Neferpito. That was the only Chimera Ant Gon fought. He knew of Meruem, but he never met him. So technically, Meruem's more of a anti-hero more than a villain, because he never really, quote unquote, ever really met Gon. So that makes perfect sense. But oh my gosh, you guys have to watch it. I have to say, the Chimera Ant arc it is so true. It is the longest one, but it is the most darkest. So if you guys are really not into blood and seeing your favorite characters get, hurt or injured or probably even killed, yeah, please it gets very dark. Like, really, you do think that Hunter x Hunter is a super fun, super playful anime? Hell no. And I loved it. I loved that it got dark because I was not expecting that. But oh my gosh, like, I was not expecting it to be that dark though. Holy cow. But it was great. It was long. I ain't gonna lie. It was a little tricky to get by, but I made it. And yeah, Meruem and Komugi, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They are adorable. And I'm not gonna say much, but Komugi, in the show at least, makes Meruem have a change of heart. That is all I'm gonna say. And it's so adorable. It made me cry. Alright, let's keep going. Segment 3. Power, Tragedy, and Transformation. Meruem's journey is one of growth, but it comes at a cost. From confronting life or death battles to facing morality, he experiences choices, consequences, and the weight of his actions. So, basically, when he starts to, when he was really evil, you guys, at first, he really didn't care about anything or anyone. As long as it was his kingdom, he got what he wanted, that's all he cared about. But when he met Komugi, and he started to realize that she was blind, but she was really good at this one game, which is I already forgot the name, Gonji. He got kind of frustrated, but he couldn't stop playing that game with her, so he kind of spared, which, blessing and luckily for her, that was a blessing, because basically she was entertaining him with the game, but she was kind of frustrating him in a way that he could spare her so that they would just continue to play the game. And then he would not stop playing it until he found out the rules, and basically at first, when he thought that he was gonna win, he said to Shapu or whoever it was that the whole point is that once he wins the game, she'll be out of the way, basically, but she was just frustrating him. And he had also an iconic fight with Isaac Neptune, which is, he was the most elite character of the Hunter x Hunter. So if you wanted to take a Hunter exam, you had to go through him first before you got the Hunter exam. Because yes, he will take anyone, but if you're not qualified for it, you cannot be in the Hunter x Hunter. Anyway, he's insane. He's extremely funny. Right? R.I.P. to the GOAT, because, he passes on in the most badass way ever. So anyway, he gets into this fight, with this iconic fight. Mind you, Meruem didn't fight Gon. This is what I was saying about, he wasn't really a villain, because he didn't really fight Gon. He fought the elite hunter, which was Isaac Netero. And basically, Isaac Netero was training for this. He was waiting for this for all his life. And when he got the chance to fight Meruem, he started to tell Meruem that about this grenade, about the heart, or something, the rose grenade, I think that's what it was, that, he'll never understand what love really is, cause he's only a monster, he's only an animal, like, he basically he was telling him, like, bro, you're an animal, you will never understand what it's like to feel pain, what it's like to feel, human. That's what he was basically saying. He was kind of like not making fun of Meruem, but he was like saying, "Oh, you'll never be human." That's the analogy he was going for. And Meruem was kind of afraid of Isaac because he had a lot more Nen power than Meruem did. But Meruem didn't give up. It was a really iconic fight. R.I.P. to the goat that went past, thinking he passed on, defeating Meruem, but that wasn't really the case. And Meruem comes back from the dead, resurrected, and he kind of loses his memory of Komugi, which Shellproof tries to take advantage of that, but it doesn't. And then basically the whole point is that basically when Meruem comes back to life, he kind of starts realizing, oh, I don't want to be the bad guy. Like, I've done damage to so many people that I don't want to be the bad guy. And at first he was conflicted by it, because there was a point in the series where he actually saved Komugi from an eagle, I think. And he didn't know why he was feeling that way. He didn't know why he was feeling bad, because back then, before Komugi and everyone else, he really didn't give a crap about it, like I said, about anyone. So basically, Isaac was kind of telling him, "Oh, you're just an ant. You'll always be an ant. You'll never be as human, no matter what you feel, no matter if you are half human under there. I don't care. Like, you will always be an ant." But basically he was also saying that humans were also monsters as well. So basically he was kind of saying, look, even though we're not the same, but we kind of think a little bit of evil. Like, we're kind of equal on that, basically. And when Meruem comes back, he has no memory, but he knows he needs to get to someone, aka Komugi. That's who he was trying to get back to, without realizing. So basically, Meruem, through consequences and actions, he realized he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He wants to be good. He tries to be good, and that's who he wants to be for the rest of his life. And like I said, I'm not gonna spoil one part, because if I start talking about it, I will be boohooing like a freaking baby just thinking about it. So all I'm gonna say is it's a sweet reunion, but just get tissues, because it is a reunion you never expect, nor do you want to cry. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, segment 4. Final thoughts plus what's next. What Meruem teaches us: even those born for destruction can find humanity. True strength is measured not just by power, but by empathy and choice. Connection can transform even the most formidable being. Yes, so Meruem is and don't take this literally, you guys. Just because Komugi changed Meruem, it was mostly him that had to realize himself. Yes, Komugi was kind of a part of it, but he has to realize it for himself. Same goes for us. We're not perfect human beings, no matter what we are. So, take accountability say sorry if we need to, apologize, but don't apologize too much, unless if it's truly necessary. But that's what Meruem teaches us, that no matter what, we can always find the good in others, and we can find the good in ourselves. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, I cannot believe we're literally at episode 30. And thank you all so much for voting on my Instagram story. We're gonna be doing Biscuit Kruger for our next episode, which I'm really excited for the next episode. If you guys want to follow me, you guys can follow me down at my socials that are down in the description below. And I forgot to. Oh yeah, wait, hold on. For joining me, so yeah, we'll be diving into Biscuit Kruger for episode 30, and we'll also be diving deeper into the characters, challenges, and lessons that make this story unforgettable. Per usual, love y'all, bye!